Hello. Yeah, it's been a while since I posted anything. This past year has been a lot. I actually lost my job because of the pandemic, and I really needed to get out of New York. I was having like a mini breakdown. I asked my mom, like, can I come, stay with you for a while and just sort of get myself together and think about what I want to do next? And she was like very happy for me to come back. And she was going to the doctor a lot more than I was anticipating. She was having Zoom calls with this doctor. I didn't know what they were about. But one day, the doctor asked to speak to me. The doctor said, "You probably know that your mother has stage 4 cancer." And I was like, no, I didn't know that. I found out later that she had a slew of health issues. She had cataracts, aggravated arthritis, um, liver issues, kidney issues, and she was in denial about a lot of it. So the doctor needed to talk to me to get through to her because she just wasn't getting how bad her situation was. And my mom thought seriously that God was going to heal her. And she didn't do the majority of the things that the doctors were asking her to do for any of her issues. So it got to the point where she needed to be on dialysis. And she was skipping appointments. And I think she was really depressed. And she just sort of like drifted into like her own alternative reality. She would just sit in front of the television and watch like things that comforted her, like Westerns and old 80s sitcoms. 8 hours a day, she would do this. One day she came back from dialysis and she was shaking really badly. And I said, what's wrong? Do you want me to call the doctor? She's like, no, I don't want you to call anyone. It's just, they said this happens sometimes. I said, are you sure? She's like, yes, just, it's fine. So later that night, she's having trouble moving. She can't move her legs and her arms hurt. Like she's in so much pain, she can't move. I called my sister over and, we're like, we need to call the doctor. She's like, no, don't call anyone. Just like reposition me and, make me comfortable. But we're like, you can't move. I hear her calling me while I'm sleeping, and I like jump out of my bed and I'm like, what? Where? She's not in her room. She's like, I'm in the bathroom. She said she had been in there for hours and she couldn't get up. And she was in a lot of pain. It took forever to get her from the bathroom to her bedroom. And I said, I'm calling 911. She's like, no, I don't want you. I'm like, you can't go to the bathroom by yourself. You can't get up, you can't move. 911 came, they got her in the chair, took her to the hospital, found out that she had infection from the dialysis. They said they had never seen someone deteriorate that quickly once she got in the hospital. And she didn't want to talk about death. She didn't want to talk about anything that had to do with her not being here. Her heart stopped, and the doctors were trying to force the conversation because they needed her to tell them what she wanted done. If her heart stopped again, she wouldn't talk about it. Me and my sister knew what was coming because she stopped eating, and that usually is, everything goes downhill after that. She was probably there 2 weeks, and the doctor called us and said that her heart had irregular patterns. We rushed to the hospital, and she had passed like probably a half hour before we got there. She had just turned 70. And that took a huge toll on me because it was not just emotionally dealing with that, but then it was also preparing for the memorial and like asking my friends for help because we didn't have any money. I wasn't working. And so my older sister was helping us clean out the house and get rid of stuff. Her name was Dana. 2 weeks after that day that she was helping us, she was in a hit and run. It was an SUV going 50 miles per hour. It was 10 minutes before a police or ambulance came. The impact was so hard that it knocked her out of her coat. And she was just laying there in the cold. We went to the hospital, and they told us that she was brain damaged and she had spinal damage, and just, it was not good. We thought that the movements we were hearing about were because she was getting better, but they said she's in so much pain that every time they increase the dosage, it's not enough. And that's why we're seeing her move, because she's in so much pain. My other sisters and her daughter decided they're gonna pull her off of the machines. Watching someone go through the process of dying in the hospital, like being taken off of the machine, and I was not prepared for that. And it was a lot. It was a lot to watch someone's life like leave them. And when she took her last breath, over the speakers in the hospital, "I'll Take You There" by the Staples Singer started to play. I know a place, ain't nobody crying, ain't nobody worried. I'll take you there. I thought that was a message. Probably a month or two after that, my uncle, who I wrote a play about, he was a character. And we would talk on the phone about music. He was always pitching ideas because he thought I was bigger than I am. And he thought I could get to people. He's like, "I have a song for Dolly Parton. Just hear me out." I'm like, "I don't know Dolly Parton." He's like, "But you can get to her." He was always like, he never like abandoned his love for music. He was in his 80s. He was in and out of the hospital. I went with my cousin, his son, to see him. I knew once he stopped eating it, and I knew there was like probably a few days left for him. And then he passed. And then literally a month after that, my friend who was in Thailand had meningitis. And he kept saying like, "I'm getting better." And yeah, his sister said, "Our bill is $8,000. And he ran out of insurance. There's nothing else that they'll give us. Do you have money?" Well, I sent the money over. At the time, I was working, thankfully, and it wasn't a big deal. But then a few days later, I see her post on Instagram that he passed away. It hit me so hard because this is all happening like weeks or months from each other. He died alone. He had tons of friends. They all abandoned him when he got sick. So I hadn't recovered even from my mom, and all of this was happening. I had a dream that really didn't feel like a dream, and I know that sounds very cliche, but I felt like it was happening. And my mom would get really cold, and I would get really annoyed because it would be summer and she would want the heat on like 80, but it was still cold to her. In this dream, I'm sleeping, and she knocks on the door and she says, "Germano, I have to turn this heat on. I'm sorry. I'm just cold." And I said, "Fine." And I go back to sleep. And then it hits me. I'm like, she's not supposed to be here. She's dead. Then she comes back and she tells me, that she's about to turn the heat down. And I said, "Mom, come in for a minute." I'm like, "Just sit on the bed for a moment." I grab her hand and I look in her eyes and I say, "You're not supposed to be here. Like, you're dead. You passed." And then I saw her think for a moment. I saw her understand what I was saying. And I just like started bawling, and I like grabbed her and I was like, "I love you so much, and I miss you, and I wish you were here, and I wish I had said I loved you more." And I was gone. I was gone. And then I woke up, and I didn't feel like that was a dream, because I felt a closure. And this is the first time I've told this story without breaking down. And I feel like I'm actually starting to heal. The thing that actually saved me emotionally, mentally, spiritually was ancestor veneration. I do believe in the spirit world. I do believe that our ancestors, people that we loved, are still around us. I woke up like 2 weeks ago because I heard my mom calling me. Very strange things have happened that sort of remind me that they're still around. Just the knowledge of that has given me peace and has helped me deal with them not physically being here. That's why I really haven't posted anything. I wasn't really in the mood. I may post here or there, but I just thought I needed to like finally tell that story and get that off of my chest. So thanks for listening.